Have you ever played a game that blew you away within the first few minutes, reigniting your love for video games? An experience you didn't even know you were missing, but after the credits roll, you realize you're now more complete. That was my experience with Tunic, an incredible indie adventure that proudly wears its Legend of Zelda inspirations on its hero's green sleeves. The titular Tunic is a clear homage to Link's iconic attire. And while the game leans into those inspirations with a sense of discovery, adventure, and rewarding exploration, it's not a lazy copy and paste job. Funny enough, Tunic shares as much with Dark Souls as it does with The Legend of Zelda, and even then, that doesn't fully capture the experience of playing it. So, let's talk about it. This is my review after 100% for Tunic. You're dropped into this world without any information. There's no setup, no cutscene, no text crawl that explains who you are, this cute little fox wearing a tunic, or why you're waking up on the shore. The isometric view and low-texture, sharp-edged art style gives the feeling that you're peering down on a diorama of carefully staged toys. As you get up, you have no instructions or direction. The only thing driving you is your own curiosity. What happens when I climb the stairs? What's just over that hill? Where should I go next? The world is not only dangerous, but hides a mysterious power. You're driven to find this power and uncover the mysteries behind this world. What ancient civilization erected fox statues? Who was the fallen hero with all those shrines? And ultimately, what is your role in all of this? The player-driven sense of curiosity, exploration, and discovery is integral to the game's core design. Soon you'll find a stick, but you're not told what it does, though you have a pretty good idea. I bet you could whack some stuff with it. So you try hitting some pots. Yep, that works. You could probably use it to fight too. Yep. Though it's definitely weak. It also doesn't cut through any of the foliage or barriers blocking your path. That tells you you're going to need something a bit stronger. There has to be a sword around here somewhere. After some searching, you'll find a sword. And as you expected, it's far better at dispatching enemies than the stick was. If you give it a try, you can use the sword to cut down the shrubs, or whatever these cubes are supposed to be. Oh nice, now you can get into new areas that you couldn't before. Of course, you want to see what you couldn't see earlier. As you explore, you'll find all sorts of different items, and each time you do, there's text telling you what it is, but it's in a language you can't read. You'll come across all sorts of mysterious things like shiny gold coins, pots, or spicy peppers. You'll have to try using the items you pick up to know what they are. You're constantly driven by curiosity, and the way the game balances being mysterious without ever being obtuse is perfect. You want to learn and understand more about this world, but you aren't frustrated by the lack of information. Each discovery feels like you're let in on a little secret. One thing you'll find a lot of are pages to an instruction manual for the game. Yeah, remember those? Games used to come with real, actual books filled with controls, tips, maps, and whatnot that would help you out on your adventure. As you explore, you'll find pages of a manual that look like they were ripped straight out of a retro games instruction booklet, complete with annotations in an indecipherable language. This manual is more than just a nostalgic nod. It's a core gameplay element. It contains crucial hints, maps, and mechanics explanations, but in a cryptic way that requires you to piece things together. You may not understand everything, but you'll absolutely learn more about the game with each page you find. Like I learned about the invincibility frames when rolling. If you see dust, you're invincible. Armed with this new information, I was able to adjust my playstyle when taking on new foes. That connection with the game and the world is continually strengthened and reinforced with each new discovery or new knowledge. There are secrets everywhere and nearly constant hints of something just out of reach, like a curious treasure chest on an impossible to reach ledge, or the allure of a manual page across a river with no bridge. The game never outright tells you your next move, but it trusts you to figure it out, which is exceptionally rare these days. The camera is fixed. It'll track you as you move, but you can't move it or reposition it yourself. I found this to be claustrophobic at first, desperately wanting to re-angle my view so I could see what was just out of frame. Soon, however, it became clear. This too is in service of the core design philosophy. You can't see what you're missing until you go there. Like so many other elements, this simple decision to take the camera control away is in service of discovery. The levels look and initially feel very simple and straightforward, but
that was a lie.
The world is filled with branching paths, rooms to peer in, and hidden messages to uncover. You'll open a gate, drop a ladder, or unlock a door that opens up new areas, but also often circles back on a previous area. You get a lot of that Souls-like level design, where you'll open up new paths that make your next run a little faster, or maybe let you avoid certain enemies. And that's not the only Souls-like element in Tunic. Seriously, hiding under this cutesy aesthetic lives a challenging game with some of the punishing design we tend to associate with Souls-likes. For example, you rest at these shrines to refill your health and potions, but it also revives any fallen enemies. The enemies are surprisingly tough and often overwhelm you in seconds. When you die, you'll revive at the shrine, and if you make it back to where you died, you can recover your spirit and lost currency. Now, I wouldn't say it's quite as brutal as the heavy hitters in the genre, but it certainly leans further that way than I was expecting. Combat sits comfortably between Zelda and Dark Souls. Your arsenal of weapons and items, combined with the simple yet satisfying moveset, feels like Zelda. But the stamina management, focus on precision and timing, along with the harsh punishment for failure feels decidedly Souls-like. You wouldn't think with the look of this game that it would be as difficult as it is. Each fight feels meaningful, and the game doesn't shy away from throwing a monster-shaped wall in your way, demanding you do the seemingly impossible task of getting around it. And it's not just the bosses either. The low-level fodder enemies can lay waste to you in just a few hits, and if a gang swarms you at once,
forget about it.
This added difficulty might surprise those expecting a purely Zelda-like experience, but it adds a layer of depth that makes each victory rewarding. Enemies come in all shapes and sizes, from gooey blobs to hulking knights, all deceptively cute, but each one with unique defenses and attack patterns to make you spill your coin. The bosses, while rarely to that epic scale seen in Souls-likes, are nonetheless always a formidable challenge, testing everything you think you know about the world up to that point. Thankfully, you'll continue to get stronger as you progress, both in things like the items that upgrade your attack, defense, stamina, and magic, but also in your understanding of the game. It's actually hard to describe this since so few games take this approach, but as you come to understand more advanced mechanics, whether through experimentation or a page in the manual, it shifts your entire understanding of the game. There were countless times I was finally able to best a tough boss, or discover some hidden secret because of some new revelation. There's nothing more I'd wish for than to re-experience this game for the very first time, because those revelations stick with you and make this strange and hostile world feel a little more understandable. Visually, Tunic is a feast for the eyes, with its vibrant, pastel-colored world and meticulously designed environments. The game's art style is both minimalistic and richly detailed, creating a world that feels alive with mystery and wonder. The isometric perspective, reminding me of Zelda titles like A Link to the Past, is used to great effect, creating an environment that invites exploration and rewards curiosity. The world of Tunic is crafted with a sense of secrecy and discovery at its core. The character design of this fox and most of the enemies are immediately recognizable and easy to differentiate. The bosses especially have formidable and imposing designs that make them intimidating the first time you're face to face with them. And the look of the manual, mwah, chef's kiss. That takes me right back to my childhood, rifling through the pages, hunting for clues, taking notes, and getting lost in the fantasy of it all. It's just perfect. I also want to take this time to praise the absolutely wonderful audio work that accompanies Tunic everywhere. From the incredible sound design to the impeccable soundtrack by Lifeformed and Janice Kwan. The audio is a great complement, balancing wonder, anxiety, and playful exuberance. Tunic tells a story without really telling it. The narrative is largely wordless, conveyed through environmental storytelling, cryptic symbols, and of course, the manual. The story is deeply intertwined with its themes of exploration and the unknown, and once again, the developers trust you to uncover and interpret it. It's a game that respects your intelligence, encouraging you to experiment, fail, learn, and ultimately succeed on your own terms. Now, I always cover the completion process for the games I review. I tend to 100% complete most of the games I play, whether I review them or not, and I've found that completing games gives me a fuller perspective for reviews. But instead of giving you the steps for completion here, let me give this advice. Go into the completion process blind. You'll earn most of the trophies through your discoveries. Of course, you can look up a guide, and with it, this will be one of the easiest platinum trophies you'll ever earn. But what you'll lose is far greater. If you look up the solution to all the secrets, the sense of curiosity, exploration, discovery, and the overall magic of this game is lost. My only regret after doing everything is that I'll never be able to do it again with fresh eyes. So I highly recommend you give yourself that same experience too. The game isn't that long, it'll take 12 to 15 hours from beginning to end. So even if you didn't do everything, it's worth it to play again on New Game Plus. Tunic is not what it seems. Sure, it wears its Zelda influences on its sleeves, though it's anything but a mere clone. It takes familiar elements and reinvents them, creating an experience that feels both nostalgic and fresh. It's a beautifully crafted, deeply engaging experience that captures the essence of what makes adventure games so special while forging its own path in the genre. And that's why I highly recommend you discover the world of Tunic.